Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 27 of our back to school month here on the channel. Each and every day, 30 days of September. We're looking at our 30 favorite albums that we listened to the most during our high school years. My particular high school years happened to be 1980 through 1984. All right, so I was 14 through 18 at that point in time, and this particular album, this is a band that I got into heavily during this period, so it was really interesting for me to pick out like which album did I probably listen to the most. It wasn't the first one I got. First one I got was an album called Blackout, and I listened to that a ton during this period. But I think the album that passed it, that I really gravitated towards and listened to all the time, came out in January 1979 here in the States. A few months earlier in 78 in Europe. RCA Records, of course, talking about the great Tokyo tapes from Scorpions, produced by Dieter Dierks. A fantastic live album. One of my favorite like hard rock heavy metal live albums from the 70s, and it was really interesting for me to get into Blackout first and then start to move backwards in the Scorpions catalog, because the Scorpions up until Blackout, really not much of an impact did they make here in North America, at least not in my neck of the woods. I don't remember anybody talking about the Scorpions at all prior to the Blackout album getting released. And but as you kind of go back, I think the next album I bought from them was probably Animal Magnetism, and then I went and got this. And this prompted me, of course, to get Virgin Killer and In Trance and Lonesome Crow. I scooped up the earlier Scorpions albums very, very quickly over the span of not very long. Whatever little money I was making, doing odd jobs and stuff in high school, and was going to buy records, and Scorpions albums I bought quite a few of in a short span of time, and I just absolutely fell in love with this lineup, with these songs. And as much as I really, really loved Blackout and the Matthias Jabs version of the band, I was just mesmerized by Ulrich Roth, and still am to this day. So here you have, like I said, Klaus Meine on lead vocals, Ulrich Roth, now goes by the name of Uli John Roth, on lead guitar and some vocals, Rudolf Schenker on rhythm guitar, Francis Buchholz on bass guitar, and Herman Rarebell on drums. And this is just epic stuff, with the wonderful guitar playing of Mr. Roth, who kind of mixes like neoclassical with that kind of bluesy, funky acid rock of Jimi Hendrix. That's his style. Very, very cool stuff. You got loads of like great songs from the early part of the catalog. This also suffices as like a kind of almost greatest hits of the Scorpions up until this point. And what's interesting is when this album came out, when the band went toward Japan, Roth had already announced to the band that he was leaving. So this was like kind of like he was gonna finish out the tour, finish out all the dates, and then he was gonna go do his own thing. And it's amazing. It's kind of like the whole Ritchie Blackmore and Deep Purple announcing he's leaving to go form Rainbow, and you listen to some of those recordings from the Stormbringer tour, and it's some of Ritchie's best playing ever, and it's kind of get that here as well. So it starts off with a Uli John Roth original called All Night Long, which not available on any studio album. It's a song they put together that they basically played live on this tour. Then you got the great Pictured Life, you got Backstage Queen. The best version of Polar Nights ever is on this album. Polar Nights, just absolutely stupendous. Another great vehicle for some just incredible guitar work from Uli. And yeah, his vocals are not good, but after all these years, 40 years of listening to this album, I can't envision hearing some of those songs that Uli sings without his terrible vocals on them, right? Just whatever. In Trance is on here, absolutely terrific. You got We'll Burn the Sky, and of course this was a double album set. Suspender Love, In Search of the Peace of Mind from the very, very first album. You got Fly to the Rainbow, again, best version of Fly to the Rainbow ever. Some amazing parts in here. You got these like kind of psychedelic Hendrixy things going on in the middle. You got both Klaus and Uli singing. At the end, you got the amazing whammy bar guitar theatrics and everything. It's kind of like Uli's answer to Machine Gun by Hendrix. Just amazing stuff. And then over on side 3, you got a really heavy He's a Woman, She's a Man, crushing. Speedy's coming, absolutely amazing, crushing at top of the bill. And then you have the long kind of rock and roll medley, Hound Dog, Long Tall Sally. I kind of wish they would have skipped that, but it is what it is. And then of course it finishes up with Steam Rock Fever. You got a killer Dark Lady, a little Kojo no Tsuki, a little Japanese original there, and then finishing it off with the manic Robot Man. Really cool. If you get the reissue, all right, which came out a couple years ago, you also get 2 songs not from the original album that were also played on various other dates in Japan. Hellcat, which is terrific and long, like just under 10 minutes long. A lot of jamming on that. You got Catch Your Train, and then Kimi Gayo, another Japanese kind of folk song or whatever. And then you get some other versions of some tracks that did make the album from various other dates in Japan, like Polar Nights is another version of Polar Nights, another He's a Woman, She's a Man, Top of the Bill, and Robot Man. So, yeah, I mean, this is just fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. And it's just really, really interesting to read the liner notes of this, where Klaus and the other guys in the band talk about how Uli just didn't even want to go to Japan. He was so ready to kind of move on and do his own thing, that he was not that he made life difficult for them, but his head was in another place. And he just did really, the rest of the band were just loving being in Japan and just taking it all in. And Uli was like, you can't really tell from the pictures, because there's loads of pictures in their time in Japan, and Uli looks like he's having a great time like everybody else. But Klaus talks about how Uli was just very uncomfortable, didn't want to go there, didn't want to fly all the way out there. And then while they were there, he kind of kept to himself, and he just was ready for it all to be over, which, again, you listen to the recordings, and it's like a man playing like he's possessed. And so... go figure, right? So anyway, that is my pick for today. Can you tell I love this album? Tokyo Tapes from Scorpions, one of the great metal bands, hard rock metal bands from Germany ever. So you got a couple German bands in this list this month, right? You got Accept and Scorpions representing. And that is my pick for today, day 27. So list your pick down in the comments below, as well as any thoughts you might have on Tokyo Tapes. And stay tuned for day 28 tomorrow. We only got 3 more days tomorrow, 28, 29, and 30, before we move into twin guitar madness, those great dual guitar teams in the history of rock. I'm going to be giving you my 30, how many days are in August? 31. So I'll be giving you my 31 favorite dual guitar lineups each and every day. You'll get a different one throughout the month of October. And then in November, we're going to give some love to the ladies, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite female-fronted rock bands, right? So it's all about the ladies in November. And then I think December, we're going to talk about 2022 releases. So I may just do I don't think I've ever done this before, but I may just do a countdown of my 31 favorite albums of 2022. Each and every day you get a different one. So I think we'll start off from 31, go all the way to number 1. So I think that's what we're going to do in December of this year. So there you have the program for the next couple of months. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit that like button before you leave, as well as the subscribe button. If you come here every day and you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted every time we post a video. And we also have the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page for all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility stuff. And SOT Fall Fest is just a couple days away, so hope to see you all at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York. We've got some great music. The headliners, of course, are Pat Travers Band, Vanilla Fudge, and Nectar. So we got some great blues rock, classic rock, and prog rock. And then, of course, we also have some great guest speakers who will be doing Q&As with the audience. Andy Powell, guitarist, vocalist, founder of Wishbone Ash. Chris Caffrey, guitarist of Savatage and Trans-Siberian Orchestra. We also have a performance by Epic Tantrum, great prog band from upstate New York. And then a last-minute switch. Sonus Umbra will not be appearing, but we've got a very good supplement there. We've got Rick Labonte, who was going to be at the show anyway, coming all the way down from Canada. Rick Labonte has put together a little acoustic trio with Louis Nasser, bassist from Sonus Umbra, and our very own Eric Porter on guitar. So the three of them will be playing, I think, a couple cover tunes and some Rick Labonte originals. So that's all happening in the early evening as we kick off the music on Saturday evening. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.